Now let's talk about WHM, and what that stands for is Web Hosting Manager. This is really the tool that you're going to use to set up clients, manage clients, and really just kind of manage everything behind the scenes with your server. So after you've purchased your server, which we did in the previous module, obviously, so you're going to want to go to your client area within A2 Hosting, which I showed you in the previous module. But here you'll have all these different website URLs, the reseller administration, which is WHM. That's the URL that we want. But before we click on that, I also want you to take note of the username right here and also the password right here, because that's the username and the password that you're going to use to log into WHM. So go ahead and open up this link, your WHM link, in a new tab, and then we're also going to copy and paste the username and password into the login screen. So you're going to come to a screen that looks like this. You'll put in your username and password, and then you should come to a screen that looks, well, I guess it'll probably look like this. So I'm going to give you just a quick walkthrough of WHM, how it looks, some of the main features and things that I use, but it's pretty self-explanatory. So, okay, the first thing I want to show you guys is under list account. So go ahead and click on that. And I have here a list of all of the different websites that I host. So this is every single website, and you'll notice that right here you've got the domain name, you've got a cPanel link, which you can actually click on to access their cPanel. We're going to talk about that in just a second. We're going to see the IP address. You'll notice that all of the different IP addresses listed here are the same as you go down. So that's really just the IP address of your server. You'll see the username, the contact email address, the date that you set it up on, you know, how much disk space they're using, all that kind of stuff. So this is pretty self-explanatory. But that's how mine looks. Obviously, when you set up yours, you're not going to have all these different websites in here because you don't have clients yet, or you haven't set up clients yet. So I'm going to hop over here to my other reseller hosting account. I've actually got two because my one server is so full, it can't handle other clients. So I've actually just purchased a second reseller server so I can keep adding additional clients. So if I click on list accounts, you'll see here I've only got one website. And when you go into your WHM, you will only see one website, and that's the website that your account is purchased under. So if when you purchased your reseller server, you bought briceshosting.com, then your URL should show up here. There's always going to be just at least one. And then from there, you have your own cPanel. You've got everything from there. So you can build a website on briceswebhosting.com or myhosting.com, whatever you purchase, you can actually set up a website on that URL if you want. I'll get into that more later. But for now, I just want to give you a tutorial of WHM. So everything that you need to do really is over here on the left side, and there's really not a whole lot that I do in here. Most of the time, I either just create an account, I look at accounts, I access cPanel, or I'll look at like bandwidth and disk space usage. So over here on the left side, the majority of the stuff that I do is under list accounts, like I said, which is the page that we're on here. The nice thing is you can search for whatever you want. I'll come over here because there's more data here. So if I want to search for Bryce, I can see here I've got three websites: Bryce Demo, Bryce J. Matheson, and BryceMatheson.io. I can forget the search. I can search by domain name. I can search by username, you know, however you want to do that. The other thing that I looked at or that I look at frequently is bandwidth usage. So if you click over here, you can see the amount of bandwidth that your different websites are using. So we're about halfway through the month. You can see that, let me sort by most used. So you can see that one website here is using 126 gigs of bandwidth out of unlimited. And I'll talk more about that when we set up packages. You can see that this website is using 103 gigs. This website is using 57. So I have some websites that use a ton. And then if I scroll all the way down here, I've got some websites that use virtually nothing. Like this one's using 1 meg of bandwidth per month, which is hardly anything. But you can set up bandwidth limits in here. I'll show you how to do that. You can set up all these different restrictions, but you can come in here and just see what clients are using what, how much they're using. And this is another reason why I love WHM, why I go through A2 hosting, because when I was using DigitalOcean, when you're using AWS, I don't feel like you get a chart laid out very nice and clean like this. I really like the format. I can quickly come in here, check on clients, make sure they're not using too much bandwidth. But it's laid out really nice and easy. The other thing I do is create a new account. That's very common, obviously. So I can come in here, and this is where you put in your domain name, the username for the account, the password that you want their cPanel account to be, email, choose a package. I'll talk about packages in just a second. All the different settings that you want. So if I need to set up a new website, this is how you'll do it. There's lots of different features here, like you can change a password on the cPanel account. You can force a change. So if you feel like their account has been compromised, you can come in here and you can say the next time they log in, they have to change their password. You can limit the amount of bandwidth. If they haven't paid for their website hosting for that month, you can suspend their account. You can change their password. You can edit quotas. I mean, there's so much stuff that you can do. I really don't do a lot in here because most of the time my clients pay. I don't need to force them to reset their password. The majority of the time under this account function section, I just do the create a new account. And then over here, really the only other things that I do are packages, which I'll talk about in another video. You can edit packages, delete packages, modify packages, all that kind of stuff. Everything else in here, I really don't do a lot with. You may see this SSL, TLS. I don't really do anything in here because I manage the SSL certificates, which again, I'll talk in a future video, under the cPanel account itself. So I don't actually do it in here. So really, truly, like I said, the majority of the time under WHM, I'm usually under list accounts, create an account, or bandwidth. Those are really the things that I do in here. The rest of the stuff I manage under cPanel, but WHM has a lot of capability. I just don't really use it because those 3 or 4 functions is really all that I need.